The Batman the Brave and the Bold animated series may not have been the best Batman animation out there, but I tried watching it, a good few episodes of it, and yeah, my reaction was pretty much the same, to be honest. But I did find some episodes that I enjoyed, and this is what this video is about. If you're someone who really doesn't want to go through the whole series, I would sort of recommend these episodes to try out, and if you definitely didn't like these episodes, then you won't like the rest of the series, or at least that's my opinion anyway. If you are someone that enjoys this series, more credit to you. It's just something that I don't particularly enjoy watching, but these episodes I do. So let's get this top list started. Number 5, Mightfall. So the first one I'm talking about is Mightfall. This was actually the final episode of Brave and the Bold, and what I really like about this is it has the character Batmite, who I actually don't like at all really, and you know, they sort of break the fourth wall in this, where Batmite, he's sort of like the Batman fan of everyone, and he just does not like the Brave and the Bold episode. He's watching it on the television. He just hates the series now. He wishes it went to the more darker adaptations like the Batman, or even better, the 90s cartoon. And so the whole point of what he's doing is he is literally trying to make the show jump the shark, which is a term when a show is just going downhill. And they literally jump the shark in like a very fake episode. I think it's a fake episode. I don't remember seeing that scene. But so what Batmite tries to do is he tries to get the ratings down low by changing everything. He changes the whole rule that Batman has about guns. He changes aspects of the show, so it brings in like a younger child. It also brings in stuff like, you know how toy companies would want to sell more toys, so they make cartoons. He does stuff like that as if they were things that would be toys. He changes Aquaman's voice to a different actor, and it's just really funny seeing that. And there's another superhero who I forget the name of, who is aware of all this. He's aware that Batman the Brave and the Bold is going to be cancelled, and he's actually voiced by Henry Winkler, who some of you may know as the Fonz from Happy Days. And I think that's funnier because jumping the shark was a term used from the show Happy Days, where Henry Winkler as the Fonz literally jumps over a shark on a ski. And I just think it's kind of funny that way, and he sort of tries to convince Batman that, like, you know, we're in a fictional world and all this, and you know, it is kind of interesting. And I actually liked it because I kind of think the creator wanted to make a darker sort of series of Batman. Maybe they're getting sick of it. The ending is a little bit meh, like half of it I like, half of it I dislike, but I thought it was pretty good considering that what the show has brought us so far anyway. Number 4, Deep Cover for Batman. So this next one is actually a part 1 of a two-parter episode, and usually I would have the two parts together, but this part 1 actually stands out very strong to me, and it could actually work a lot better without part 2 if they actually just fixed up the last few minutes, or maybe even fixed up part 2. But Deep Cover for Batman, it has the idea of the parallel universes where, you know, the counterpart of Batman is Owlman. He comes over to Batman's universe, he takes his costume, he goes over to Owlman's universe, and you know, he sort of like fools the bad guys of that world, who we would know as the good guys, you know, like, so you'd have stuff like Blue Bowman, Scarlet Scarab, and Silver Cyclone, you know, which are of course Green Arrow, Blue Beetle, and Red Tornado, regulars in the Brave and the Bold. And Batman goes over because he's going to help Red Hood, who, you know, I actually kind of like the whole reveal of Red Hood in this episode, which is really cool. I knew already, but I like the way they sort of played it out. What I really like about it is, you know, Batman's attitude in this new universe, and there's like small jokes here and there. Like there's one where Batman is trying to find where Red Hood is being held, and he's in the mess hall, and Scarlet Scarab is talking about, oh, people don't believe me that I have a hero's heart. And Batman's like, huh, an ally. And he's like, I keep it in the back of my closet. And I was just like, that's kind of dark for a children's show. He's like ripped out an actual hero's heart and just stuffed it in a jar in the back of the closet. I just kind of found that a little bit funny. And it was also kind of cool to seeing some of the sort of color changes in that of the characters, making them darker, making some of them look a bit more hero, you know, because they have the villains as well as heroes. So yeah, it was kind of fun just seeing that. I wish part 2 did a better job. It's titled differently, but I forget what it is. But if it was done a lot better, I would have had it with part 1 here. The reason part 2 isn't on is mostly because of the ending. I just felt like, really, that's it. But yeah, deep cover for Batman was a really good one. Number 3, Mayhem of the Music Meister. Okay, so I'm someone who actually enjoys musicals. Like I enjoy Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables, you know, a bunch of them. Like I just can't name them off the top of my head. And when they had the Mayhem of the Music Meister, and they had Neil Patrick Harris as the Music Meister, does a great job. You know, I just found it really strange, and I know a lot of people hate when TV shows just do like a musical episode, and it can feel very forced, and it does feel a bit forced in this, because as far as I'm aware, Music Meister didn't exist in the comics. If anyone knows if that's true or not, please leave a comment down below. I just want to make sure. I probably should have done my research beforehand, but anyway, I just really like some of the songs in this. They're really catchy in my head, like they stay there for ages. Yeah, I personally just really love it because of the songs, and that's why it sort of beats the other two on the list. And yeah, if you're just looking for, like, you know, something like from the old Batman cartoons and that, like, you know, the darker tone, like this definitely doesn't have it, but it is really fun to watch, and just like the tunes as well. Number 2, Batmite presents Batman's Strangest Cases. So number 2, we have another showing of Batmite, which is Batmite presents Batman's Strangest Cases. And this is where, you know, it's sort of like, I don't know how you describe it. I think at the Night Gallery might be a thing about it. I never actually saw that. It's like Batmite is like in this sort of his fan room of Batman. You know, he has Batman items everywhere, and he talks about different incarnations of Batman. So the episode actually starts off with this thing called Batboy and Rubin, where they sort of make fun of like Batman in a way, and I think it's actually a fake version of Batman that they just created for this episode. And you know, it was kind of really goofy, but like I didn't really like it that much. I think it could be a callback to Batfink, maybe, I don't know. But what I really enjoyed was the other two sections, which was a Batman anime from Japan, which is actually based off actual Bat manga, which is an actual thing. Go check it out. I haven't actually read it, but I flipped through it, and you know, it's kind of cool that they sort of show different sort of incarnations, like of Batman. Like the third one is actually Batman meets Scooby-Doo, which brought back so many memories to me, because I had a VHS tape of Batman and Scooby-Doo episodes from like the Scooby-Doo movies. They were like 30-minute episodes on TV, and Batman met Scooby-Doo for a couple of episodes, and they even had like some of the costumes and like villains in that episode in the background and stuff. So for example, in the original episodes of Batman meets Scooby-Doo, there was stuff with Joker and Penguin dressed up in these sort of costumes. Those are actually like thrown in the background and that, and Joker and Penguin are actually in those costumes in this episode. And I think it's kind of cool, just like all the callbacks it does to the way, not just, you know, Batman's appearances, but also like media in general. So for example, with the anime Batman, they make fun of the whole thing about like the English dubs, how they like sort of change the actual dialogue of it. So it's like there's like a car crash and like Batman's like, huh, I'm sure, or Robin's like, wow, I'm sure he's probably dead in there, isn't he, Batman? Like, probably not, because no one dies. And Batman makes comment about that. He also talks about how back in the really old like Scooby-Doo cartoons, no one was allowed to like throw a punch or anything like that. It was just chasing, until he's like, hey, let's change that now. And they actually have Batman and Joker and Penguin and Robin actually fight each other, and they also have Scooby-Doo and Shaggy fighting as well. But yeah, just I kind of wish there was more episodes like this, because it just sort of shows like different versions of Batman. You actually see a segment and before each episode is usually like a 2-minute segment of some other like mini story. They had one with like Batman, like the rainbow suit Batman, who never wore the same color in 2 nights in a row. Like, you know, stuff like that. Even if they are really lame, I think it's interesting seeing like the history of Batman in segments, and that was actually really cool. That's what I really enjoyed about this particular episode. Even though the first one was fake, I kind of wish that would have evolved into an actual thing, even if it is just a spoof. Number 1 is Chill of the Night. So my number 1 is my absolute favorite Batman Brave and the Bold episode, and I think a lot of Batman fans would enjoy this, because this is like the Chill in the Night is all about how Batman and how he sort of hunts down the guy who killed his parents. And you have like it starts out with like these two entities. I'm not too familiar with the comics and these characters, so my apologies for anyone what I'm going to talk about. But you have the Spectre, who appears to be like this evil, well, who appears to be like a spirit of evil. Again, my apologies if I'm wrong. And you have like the Phantom Stranger, who appears to be like this spirit of good. And both of them wager on Batman what he would do if he found the killer of his parents. And I thought it was kind of cool, like they both sort of like influence him in one way, like giving him some sort of information, leading him down the path to find his parents' killer. And you know, even from the beginning of this episode, it gets very dark. And what's interesting about this episode as well is that throughout all of Brave and the Bold, you never saw Bruce Wayne's face properly, and this is the very first time you see it. And the first time you see it is when he comes face to face with Joe Chill, the killer of Martha and Thomas Wayne. And I think that actually stands out a lot more, because you never see his face fully again. Like I think in a couple of episodes you do see it, but he usually has like sunglasses and like a fake mustache, or like, you know, there's something fake, like a wig or something. You never see the full face until this episode, or even after it. I don't believe you actually see his face fully again. And I kind of thought it was cool for that perspective. And also you don't just get Batman's reaction when he meets Joe Chill, you actually get all the villains' reactions. You get Joker's, Mr. Freeze, Ivy's, Penguins, all them. You get all their reactions to Joe Chill, you know, being hunted down by Batman because Chill killed his parents. Also, I really liked the callbacks to the previous Batman. So, for example, the 90s Batman animation, those you may be familiar with, Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, they both play the Phantom Stranger and the Spectre, which is actually kind of funny, because it's like Kevin Conroy, the Phantom Stranger, and the Spectre, Mark Hamill. It's sort of like a, you know, angel and demon sort of thing, like with the Batman and Joker influencing the current Batman in this series, which I thought was a really nice touch. They also had when Bruce Wayne sort of like goes back in time in a weird way. He meets his parents, and Thomas Wayne is voiced by Adam West in this like sort of bat-like costume that's really sort of cheesy in that. Kind of like the 60s Batman series, which I thought was actually kind of a nice touch as well. Also, the voice actor for Two-Face, like very briefly Two-Face speaks in this, but he's actually voiced by the 90s animated series Two-Face voice actor, and one of the Catwomen from the 60s show, I can't remember her name, she voices Martha Wayne. So there's a lot of callbacks to previous Batman shows out there, and I really like it for that. And this is the only episode that actually really has the darker tone that a lot of Batman fans were looking for from this series. So those are my top 5 Brave and the Bold episodes. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. So yeah, I probably might be going back to anime and manga videos really soon. I might do more Western animated shows because I have been watching a lot of those recently as well. So yeah, leave comments down below, tell me what you guys would like to see, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.